they've been doing a great job for the past 10 years, top rank for the past 50 years. So, we can't go ahead of those guys, but Richard's right behind them, doing a great job, and I think little by little he'll be in that position too.
Speaking of Golden Boy, big fight this past Saturday they had with Jorge Linares, big win over there in the UK.
Definitely.
Potential opponent for Mikey Garcia.
That's right.
What do you make of Linares' performance and the fight that's pending?
It was a great performance. He looked sensational. He boxed really good. He showed the power, dropping Crolla after the 11th round. I believe the corner wanted to stop it, but Crolla begged him not to, and he survived the round. But yeah, Linares just fought a very good fight. Very smart, very intelligent, and skill-wise, I think probably one of the best at the lightweight division.
What would be the biggest concern on your part, being his trainer, stepping in there with Linares? What's the biggest concern?
No, Linares, he's got great skills. He's a great fighter. He's a 4-time champion, 3-division world champion. So we got to know that it's not going to be an easy fight. It's going to be a hell of a fight. It's going to be a fight that could go either way. Linares has done it before, been there before. So Mikey said it about another fighter. What Mikey's doing now, Linares already did a few years ago. Like Mikey said about Lomachenko, what Lomachenko's doing now, I already did 3-4 years ago.
What does he actually mean by that? What is he?
Winning titles at 126. Mikey beat Salido. Then he vacated the title. Then Lomachenko became champion. Well, he tried to, he couldn't beat Salido, but then he became champion. And then Mikey beat Rocky at 130. Then Lomachenko beats Rocky to win the titles that Mikey's been leaving behind. And same thing with Linares. Not the same titles, but Linares was, it's a 3-division champion already. So Linares did the same thing. Like what Mikey's doing now, Linares did before Mikey. That's just, that's the thing I'm saying. Doesn't mean that Mikey can't beat them, or doesn't mean that Lomachenko is not good enough. It's just the way their careers are going.
Where does Lomachenko fall in line? I was speaking to Freddie right now. He actually feels that Lomachenko is the best pound-for-pound fighter right now at the moment. What is your take on that? Do you agree with that, or do you have somebody else?
I've said it before, and I don't want to sound like I'm saying the same thing that Freddie's saying, but I've said this in previous interviews with everybody that talks to me. I think right now, skills-wise, I think Lomachenko is the best fighter in the world.
Is his defense penetrable? Is his skill?
Well, he's a natural guy. Those kind of skills are skills that you don't really teach. You're just so good. You're natural, born with those skills. Of course, there's workouts that you do help and get you better and improves a lot of things. But he's just a natural, talented fighter, and I think he is the best fighter in the world right now.
You saw the fight against Daniel Jacobs. What did you make of his performance? People have been throwing the word exposed out there.
Well, not really. It's just that people expected him to knock Jacobs out, like he's been knocking everybody else out, and that's what they expected, and because he didn't, now everybody thinks, oh, he got exposed.
Did it surprise you he didn't?
No, I made some money because I knew Jacobs could survive, the knockout. Huh?
What'd you bet?
I bet that he wasn't gonna get knocked out. And it was my son. My son. I thought Jacobs had a good shot at actually beating Triple G, which he almost did. I think Triple G won, but it was close. It was very close. So I knew Jacobs had skills, and I know Triple G is a very strong fighter that's been knocking everybody out. But there is those fighters that could box and fight smart and could survive and could do actually a good job.
Some people thought he actually beat Jacobs. Why didn't he beat Golovkin? Why would you say he didn't win?
Well, because it was this, he was going in against the monster, the guy that's been knocking everybody out. He was going in against, so there was a little bit of concern. He wouldn't take chances the way he would. I think in a rematch he might beat Golovkin. It's always the first fight is always, very dangerous because you're going in against that guy that knocks everybody out, the guy that should knock you out. I think he, maybe that like I said, that concern, the nervous. but he still did really good.
As for the rematch with Jacobs, it looks like it's not going to happen. He's looking to fight BJ Saunders. He beats him, he becomes undisputed champion, and he's moving to 168. It looks like the Canelo fight's in danger as well with that move. What do you make of Canelo Golovkin now after that performance with Jacobs?
Honestly, I think Canelo could beat Golovkin, but I don't see them fighting this year. I think they're probably going to end up fighting next year. I think Canelo's going to beat Golovkin.
If he moves to 168, what does that mean?
You know what? The only fighter that I could say at 168 that would probably make sense is Zurdo Ramirez, and I think Zurdo beats Golovkin too. He's just too big. He's too smart, too skillful. So I think Zurdo beats Golovkin too.
Reggie Hunter recently said that he believes Andre Ward can still make 168, and they'll be willing to compromise. His words, not Andre Ward's. Reggie Hunter's words that he'll be willing to compromise and drop down to 168 just for Golovkin. Would that be a smart decision for Andre Ward's team to meet Golovkin at 168?
I think if Andre Ward can still make 168 comfortable without killing himself, without dehydrating himself, I think he beats Golovkin too. That's my opinion.
So Kovalev fight, it looks like what happens in that rematch?
Kovalev versus Ward. It'll be another close fight. Kovalev is a beast. We don't see that, and I'm sure Ward is gonna come out differently, different approach to the fight and fight a little bit smarter. So, I don't know. I think Ward still has the skills to be able to pull it off, even though I think Kovalev won the first one. I think Ward could adjust and make a few differences and win a rematch a little more convincingly, because the first one I thought Kovalev won.
Andre Ward was able to make the adjustments over Chocolatito and Golovkin. They couldn't make those adjustments in the recent fights. Why do you think that is? Why do you think Ward was able to adjust to his opponent over Golovkin?
Well, see, we've seen it before. With fighters that smart and that good, like Mayweather. He fought Maidana. A lot of people thought it was so close. A lot of people thought Maidana won, but then he goes to rematch and he made a lot of jumps and he won. He did the same thing with Jose Luis Castillo. So I think Ward might be that type of fighter that could make those adjustments and win a little more convincingly. That's my opinion. I think if he goes down to 168, I think he could beat Triple G if Triple G moves up and weight. So it's just different opinions.
I gotta ask you about you. Last question. It seems like an end of an era for yourself. You sold the Rgba Oxnard. You made a lot of great champions. What does that mean to you, that gym, and the moving on phase to the next chapter?
Look, I didn't sell the gym because it pretty much belonged to all my fighters there that are still there. Marcos Contreras, who was there with me since day one with all those European guys, with all those Eastern European guys since day one. So when I moved to Riverside, I made the drive for 2 years. I thought I would be able to handle it for as long as I could continue in boxing, but came the day where it was just too much for me. Driving 3 hours, 3.5 hours to Oxnard and then 2 hours back to Riverside, it just became impossible. And I had a good talk with Klimas, and I had a good talk with Marcos, obviously, and then I met with all the fighters, and I told them, it's time where I have to tell you guys, I know I made that commitment, but for 2 years, I sucked it up and did it, but, it was so hard, man, especially when my fighters were there and they, I seen their face, they felt sad. Gradovic, I made him a world champion. Gradovic came up to me, gave me a hug, and didn't tear, but I could hear his voice. Maestro, you made me a world champion. That breaks your heart. But I just, I was taking too many chances on the drive and my health also. There was moments where by the end of the day, I was dead tired. My body couldn't function. And honestly, now that I'm at home, that I'm spending time with my kids, I have little ones going to school. My wife is there every day. We could have a coffee together. We could have breakfast together. Things that I never did before. Honestly, I don't regret it. I love all my fighters in Oxnard, and I wish I could still be with them, but I just couldn't, you know, for my personal reason, you know, for my family. And I think that's the most important thing, you know, being able to spend time with the family, being able to take my little ones to school, stuff like that. I love it, and I don't regret it. I do miss them, but I don't regret it.
So the fans are
Garcia Boxing.